When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be hard. Like early 90s heavy metal hard.
I'm yelling and screaming and I'm loud. Roar!
Geico makes it easy. You can review and update your policy or report a claim on Geico.com or the Geico mobile app. Because shouldn't we all have a little less stress in our lives?
I'm not even upset about anything!
Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, folks. It's Chris Daly from Jamaican.com. I'm a blogger there, and it's my privilege to occasionally meet with my co-host Denise Maxwell to do interviews with some of the most significant Jamaicans in our community. This evening, we happen to have Mr. Chen of renown with us. As you know, Jamaica is a place where we live our motto, out of many, one nation. Jamaica has been blessed with a rich diversity of many cultures to give it that special blend that's most unique. This month we celebrate the month of the Chinese New Year. For those who may not be aware of the Chinese New Year, let us give you a quick overview. The Chinese calendar is lunar solar, incorporating elements of the lunar calendar with those of the solar calendar. It's not exclusively to the Chinese, as it's followed by many other Asian cultures. It's often referred as the Chinese calendar because it's the first that was perfected by the Chinese around 500 BC. In most East Asia today, the Gregorian calendar is used for day-to-day activities because each one follows one cycle of the moon. It's also determined the phases of the moon. The Chinese New Year, which this year is 4708 or 1020 in our Western calendar, is the year of the metal tiger. The tiger represents the third year of the 12-year cycle of the Chinese zodiac. Like houses in the zodiac of the Western astrology, the animals of Chinese astrology are thought by many to dictate personality traits, or in a wider scope of things, even impact world events in any year they rule. Like the lion in Western culture, the tiger is the proverbial king of the jungle and is admired for its vivid stripes that symbolize the balanced forces of yin and yang. Now there is a summary of the Jamaican Chinese heritage. Most Chinese Jamaicans are from the Hakka and can trace their origins in the Chinese laborers that came to Jamaica in the mid-19th and 20th centuries. The two earliest ships of Chinese migrant workers to Jamaica arrived in 1854, the first directly from China, second composed of onward migrants from Panama. They were contracted for plantation work. A further 200 arrived in the year of 1870, mostly from other Caribbean islands. Later, in 1884, a third wave of 680 Chinese migrants would arrive. With the exception of a few from Zip Fu, most of these were Kaya people from Dungan, Yanhing, and Beihang. One of the most celebrated Chinese Jamaican is Mr. Chen, who is our guest tonight. He's a world-renowned photographer. He has used his vast skill to tell in pictorial stories the portrayal of Jamaican life as none ever has. You'll find in many Jamaican homes on their coffee table a copy of one of his many books that so persuasively capture the essence of Jamaican life and its places. We're indeed privileged to catch up with him this evening and to get a sense of what he's been up to lately. My co-host, Denise Maxwell, of Caribbean TV World and JamaicanDiaspora.com, will conduct the interview. Denise, take it away.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Hi, Ray. How's everything going today?
Okay, not too bad.
Tell us a little bit about your family roots in Jamaica.
Oh, well, my grandparents first came to Jamaica in 1913, where my dad and his two sisters were born. In 1920, they all returned to China. My dad married my mom in China and accompanied my grandfather, They returned to Jamaica in March 1934. On arriving, they would work in a shop in the country where they were first introduced to the role of being a shopkeeper. Over time, they eventually had sufficient funds saved, and with the help of uncles and aunts, they opened their grocery shop on their own in Kingston. I have 3 brothers and 1 sister. The boys all attended Woodward Boys School, and my sister graduated of the Immaculate.
Oh.
That's very interesting. That's what I said. My eldest brother, Wellington, was a nuclear physicist who has passed away. Washington, my second, was a ballet dancer. And my third, the photographer. And my youngest brother, Roger, was retired as a nuclear engineer. And my sister, Lillian, is a trained trauma therapist who works with adults and children.
Oh.
I don't know.
What does your family do during Chinese New Year?
Oh, well, I guess having lived in Canada for almost 50 years, and especially more so in Toronto, we celebrate the Chinese New Year as we often do at Christmas by getting together with friends and families, usually for dinner. The food is prepared and presented in a more traditional Chinese way. And Christmas, with Jamaican Western dinner is served. That's about all we do.
Oh, I see. Yeah, how is Chinese New Year celebrated differently in Jamaica compared to, say, Toronto or even China?
Well, I can tell you more so in Jamaica. The Chinese New Year is celebrated in a very quiet manner, not as jubilant as they do in Toronto or in China. Having said that, there's a few organizations that in Jamaica that celebrate this very differently. The Chinese Embassy usually puts on a dinner for invited guests at one of the Secretary's Hotel. The Chinese Cultural Center, whose members are mostly of the Chinese who have recently arrived to the island, and their celebration usually takes a dinner at the Chinese restaurant with a special menu. It's the Chinese Benevolent Association annual Christmas garden party is well attended by both the Chinese and the Jamaican community, who enjoy the fashion shows and the Chinese food that are served. It is mainly through this event that most Jamaicans are aware of the Chinese New Year. While in Toronto, we have the largest Chinese population outside the Orient, and the Chinese New Year is celebrated in a very big way by many organizations that are scattered across the city. There are many Chinese from outside the province and the city that come who travel at this time of the year to be with friends and families, for this is where the real celebration is. Yeah. Special candies and gifts are imported by the large Chinese supermarket, and the restaurants are also busy with so many dinners, so there is always a lineup.
I see.
No further visiting artists from the house to fill the shopping malls that are located across the city, perform cultural shows, and everything is performed in Mandarin language, which leads you to believe that you are really in China.
I see. Many Jamaican Chinese have migrated from the island. What was the history and motivation for the exodus from Jamaica?
I can only speak for myself as I've left Jamaica in 1964 before the mass migration of not only the Chinese but many other Jamaicans as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because of many of our parents left China during the Cultural Revolution, which was a time when the communists were taking control of China. It is based on this experience, I believe, and the policies of the then government of Jamaica, who was leaning towards a more socialist government, while many chose to migrate. I've often wondered myself if it is because our parents, who were from the Han tribe, who migrated from the north of China, settling in the southern region. It is from this region where most of the early Chinese who migrated to Jamaica came from.
Mm-hmm.
As Chris earlier said, that we were known as the Haga people, which translates as the guest people. Our ancestors were like gypsies, so it came as no surprise why we were always on the move. This is just my thinking.
I see. You stayed very connected to Jamaica. Why?
I don't know why. I only know that I'm married to a wonderful lady who has the patience and has provided me the love and support in the entire task of challenges that I've taken on photography for the past 46 years. As a successful commercial photographer in Montreal, I've always had the desire to use my talent to give something back to the land of my birth. It was only after a brief illness when I decided to return to Jamaica to capture and film the things and faces and the people before they were gone forever.
Yeah. Many people are surprised to find out that there's a sizable Jamaican Chinese population. How do you navigate these type of stereotypes when you tell people I'm Jamaican, I'm not?
Well, I think what happened is that most of the time when I would do that, before maybe I look a little different and I talk different, so they accept me. They recognize me, and I'm not one of the Orientals from China, but I'm Jamaican as much as they are, because I speak their dialect.
Most cities in the U.S. or even Europe have a Chinatown. Here in Chicago, we can just take the island, just get right off and go to Chinatown. Did Jamaica ever have a Chinatown? And how do they relate to the folks of Chinese heritage?
Well, when I was growing up, there was a Chinatown where most of the Chinese wholesalers were located.
Where was that?
It was a place of commerce, and it's in Kingston.
But I mean, where? Like, did they have a specific name? Was it Chinatown? Like if I was in Montego Bay and said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to go to Chinatown in Montego Bay, or was it like a specific name, like Jonestown, Arkistown? Where was that Chinatown located?
Well, Montego Bay hasn't really got a Chinatown. It was mostly located in Kingston. It was the area of, if you mention the word Barry Street and Princess Street, this was the area where most of the Chinese lived.
That would be considered Chinatown.
That would be considered Chinatown, yes. When I was growing up, there were Chinese bakeries, there were Chinese medical shop stores, there were even a temple.
Yeah.
Most of it is gone now because most of the folks that were there are either passed on or migrated. So there's a new breed of Chinese down there now.
Who influenced you in the art of photographer, and how did you discover that you were gifted for this art?
I really didn't know I was getting to this art. Well, I said, to answer that question, I had to go back a little bit. Because I came into photography just by accident, and I wanted to migrate into Canada. And it was my brother, who was the photographer in the family, suggested that I should look into photography. I then borrowed a friend's camera, and I was hooked from day one. I went to school in New York. I came to Montreal, and I worked in a lab. And there I was exposed to a lot of professional work. It was a good experience for me, so only the very best.
Yeah.
What would you... You know, in Jamaica, you usually look at photographers only doing passports and weddings. And then it was then and there I realized there was so much more to photography. I guess the art side of it came into when I visited a lot of museums and went to some of the symphony. And then there was that also exposed me to the other side of a more technical side of art. You know, it was after many years of learning that I landed a job as a junior photographer where I worked with an art director from France and a New York photographer. And they were good teachers because I learned a lot from them. I guess it was these two gentlemen who I owe a lot to because I was able to see things from a European designer's eye, and I did the technical parts of a New York photographer. So those two guys that really brought out a good students or they were good teachers.
What would you say to a budding photographer about developing their craft? An up-and-coming photographer. Don't rush. It just takes time.
Don't rush.
Like fine wine, huh?
Yeah.
Like fine wine, you can't rush it. You just...
That's right. Nothing comes easy, nothing comes overnight. But you know, it's no rush it, you know. Everything will come in due course, you know.
Yeah. You've noticed, through your lens, you have noticed that Jamaica has changed dramatically. How is it reflected in your work?
Jamaica has changed in a way. I wouldn't say they've changed dramatically. It's just there's a lot of new buildings going up. And the people are always the same. I think they're some of the nicest people you'll want to meet. But in terms of photography, I've always looked at it, done it the same way I've been doing it. Whether the landscape change or not, the same thing.
I see. It's obvious
really
that you are...
in my work. Okay, photographing the landscape is very challenging. I just usually study the direction of the light, you know, for the best angles, best localization. It's not easy, but sometimes it's very easy.
Yeah, it's obvious that you are a gifted photographer, but how do you prepare for each shooting?
Well, this is from past experience. I guess what I do, I get all the facts that need to be done, and I just go on the road with all my lenses and cameras, and I just, when I see a nice shot, I say, oh, look at that. And I photograph it.
The one that
continue.
Yeah. The one that I really like, when I first learned about your work, it stood out, was the breadfruit. And it was the breadfruit, the ackee, and then you had the black background. I love that one. That was the first. Yeah, that's the first. I remember when I first saw that, I was like, ooh, you know. And then I ended up getting some postcards, and then I ended up getting like a clock. That particular design, that's your signature move. What was the most unique compliment you've ever had about your work?
About my work? I guess it was during the exhibition when I had in Beijing, when I was invited by the Ministry of Culture. And they had invited me to take an exhibition of Jamaica in China.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah. And the title of that exhibition was From the Land of My Birth to the Land of My Ancestors. And
that was the name of the theme.
Yeah. And the then ambassador of Jamaica, Mr. Wayne McCook, expressed his thanks and ended with, only you could have done it, right? I think that was the nicest thing you said to me. And even I looked at what you said in your introduction, that one of the most celebrated phenomenal Chinese is Chen. It goes on about the uses skill to tell pictorial stories of Jamaica, and I thank you for that. But I also thought I just mentioned that my mom once told me that at a very early age I would gather all my brothers together and started to tell my stories, starting with the words, and so now, I guess that in some way I've always been telling stories for a long, long time.
Okay. I remember
photographing.
Yeah, I remember when I came to the last time I was in Jamaica in the airport. There's a huge picture. That's your photograph, because at the bottom of it says Ray Chen, and so that's an honor, I think. You know, to have your photo. That huge. It's like a mural. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I know this one. Yeah, there's three of them.
Yeah. Where did you
go to?
Last April. Last April.
Last April.
Yeah.
Did you see the other mural on one night you walked down the long corridor?
I just noticed that one when we were getting off the plane in Montego. Was it Montego Bay? Well,
okay.
Well, what is the airport?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know. So that's nice, you know, because you have the. I like the way they did that because you know you have our national heroes, so that's, and then they have your photo, so that it's nice that they're incorporating the whole aspect of Jamaican culture. Not just for the tourists, but as a Jamaican in the diaspora returning home, you see so many things to, you know, validate you and to acknowledge your existence.
I get a lot of calls from other Jamaicans who said, Ray, you really made my day. You made me feel at home.
Yeah, you have a photography legacy that would give, what would you like to give to Jamaica? You know, what I'm saying is, let me rephrase it. You, like for example, the scene at the airport. Would you consider that a legacy that you give to Jamaica?
No,
a photography legacy.
Yeah, I really can't say I've done my best to capture every aspect of the land, you know, and the people, the future generations to enjoy.
Yeah.
And not only future generation, but this now generation.
Right. That's true.
You know?
I say, yeah, that's true. And the current generation enjoys it, too, or appreciate it. I know I did.
Yeah.
Is there a current project you're working on that you would like us to share? To tell us about?
Well, quietly. I know this can be done quietly anyway. Because one of the last I'd like to do is to put together books on the 50th anniversary of our independence. And that's something I'm working on. And also I'd like to do a book of all our culture. So I just can't stop photographing to make it.
It's a unique place. It certainly is a unique place for all of us. It will be near and dear in our hearts. And by you documenting that, the whole community appreciates it. Yeah.
Somehow, I'm the chosen one.
Yeah. When the history books are written, how do you want to be remembered?
Hang on. Could you repeat?
I said, when the history books are written, how do you want to be remembered?
You're breaking up. Can you repeat?
Okay. I said, when the history books are written, how do you want to be remembered?
Oh, I guess as a photographer who came and loved the silence.
Do you have any parting wisdom that you would like to share with the Jamaican diaspora?
Just true to yourself and lots of love for all.
That's definitely positive. You know, Ray, we definitely appreciate you sharing the gift of your photos with us, and may you continue to bless our senses by capturing the wonder of Jamaica. If you'd like to learn more about Chris Daly, our distinguished introducer, you can visit Jamaicans.com, and his blog is Me Thinking Are You, or you could also visit his website, YourInternetEnergizer.com. If you'd like to purchase some of Ray Chen's books, you could visit JamaicanDiaspora.com and click Caribbean Culture Store. There's a couple of his books there. And Ray, if the public wants to get hold of you for any reason, how can they do that?
They can check me out on Periwinkle at CWJamaica.com.
Oh, thank you very much, Ray. We definitely appreciate you spending some time with us. Wang Lao.
Thank you very, very much also.
Bye-bye.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be hard. Like early 90s heavy metal hard.
I'm yelling and screaming, and I'm loud. Roar!
Geico makes it easy. You can review and update your policy or report a claim on Geico.com or the Geico mobile app. Because shouldn't we all have a little less stress in our lives?
I'm not even upset about anything.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike, you know...
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.